The Eagle and the Hunter. In the vast, cold, and rugged landscapes of the Mongolian mountains, where the winds howled through steep cliffs and the earth seemed untouched by time, there lived a skilled and solitary hunter. His name was Batu, a man who had spent his entire life living in harmony with the harsh wilderness around him. Batu was known for his exceptional skills in tracking and hunting, but he was also deeply attuned to the rhythms of nature. The mountains were his home, and the animals within it were his companions. One day, while making his way through the rugged terrain, Batu stumbled upon something unexpected: a tiny eaglet, no more than a few weeks old, lying on the ground, its wings weak and its body frail. It was clear that the bird had fallen from its nest, and without the protection of its parents, it would not survive for long. The eaglet was in a dire state, its feathers stained with dirt and blood from the fall. Batu knelt down and examined the bird carefully, his heart heavy with compassion. He knew that if he left it there, the chick would almost certainly perish. Unlike many hunters who saw the wilderness as a place to take what they needed without thought for the animals around them, Batu had a deep respect for the creatures of the land. He had hunted in these mountains for years, but he had always done so with reverence, understanding that every animal had its place in the delicate balance of nature. It was this respect that led him to make an extraordinary decision. He would not leave the eaglet to die. Instead, he would take it home and care for it. With great care, Batu scooped up the tiny bird in his arms, cradling it gently against his chest. He knew that the journey back to his home would not be easy, especially with the fragile bird in tow, but he was determined to give it a chance at life. Batu wrapped the eaglet in his cloak to keep it warm, and with the bird nestled safely in his arms, he began the long trek back to his remote mountain dwelling. Once home, Batu set up a small, cozy space for the eaglet by the fire. He knew that the bird needed warmth, rest, and food to regain its strength. Over the next few weeks, Batu devoted himself entirely to the care of the chick. He fed it a diet of small meat and fish, carefully ensuring that it was nourished and strong enough to begin its recovery. Every day, Batu would check on the eaglet, watching as its strength grew and its wings began to show signs of life once again. As the days passed, Batu began to form a bond with the little bird. He named the eaglet Altan, meaning golden in Mongolian, a name that seemed fitting for the majestic creature that was slowly coming into its own. Batu would spend hours with Altan, speaking to the bird in soft tones, encouraging it to stretch its wings and explore its surroundings. He even began to take the eaglet out on short walks, allowing it to get used to the wild terrain that was once its home. Slowly but surely, Altan began to grow stronger, and the bond between the two grew deeper. In time, Altan's wings became strong enough to carry him into the sky. Batu watched in awe as the young eagle took its first flight, soaring high above the mountains with the grace and power of a creature born to rule the skies. But as much as Altan had grown, Batu knew that it was time for him to let the eagle go. Altan had been raised in the wild, and now it was his time to return to the vast open skies and claim his place as a predator of the mountains. One crisp autumn morning, Batu took Altan to the high cliffs where the eagle had fallen so many months ago. He stood at the edge of the rocky precipice, looking out over the wilderness that stretched endlessly before him. Batu knew that this was a pivotal moment, not only for Altan, but for him as well. With a heavy heart, he released the eagle into the air, watching as the bird spread his wings wide and took to the sky, soaring effortlessly above the mountains. Batu stayed there for a long while, watching Altan disappear into the horizon, knowing that their time together had come to an end. Batu's expectations were quickly shattered. Weeks later, when Batu was deep in the mountains, Hunting as he had done countless times before, he heard a familiar sound, a powerful, distinct cry that echoed through the hills. He turned, and to his amazement, he saw Altan flying high above him, soaring across the sky like a shadow in the distance. Batu stood still, hardly believing his eyes. The eagle whom he had set free just weeks before was back. But this time Altan wasn't just passing by, he was coming closer, circling overhead in a pattern that Batu recognized. As the days passed, Altan returned to Batu again and again. The eagle would fly alongside Batu as he hunted, landing on the rocky outcroppings and perching patiently as Batu made his way through the mountains. On occasion, Altan would even fly directly to Batu's side, landing gracefully on his arm, just as he had done when he was a young chick. The bond between the hunter and the eagle had not only survived the transition from captivity to freedom, it had grown even stronger. Altan had returned, not out of obligation, but because he chose to. It was clear to Batu that Altan had developed a deep sense of trust and respect for him. The eagle seemed to recognize Batu as more than just a rescuer. He was a companion, a fellow creature of the mountains. Together they hunted as they had always done, with Batu guiding the eagle on his hunts, and Altan using his keen eyesight and powerful wings to spot prey from high above. The bond they shared was one of mutual respect, an understanding that transcended species and defied the traditional boundaries between man and animal. Year after year, Altan would return to Batu, continuing the cycle of their extraordinary bond. The eagle would fly from his distant hunting grounds, sometimes traveling hundreds of miles, just to be reunited with the man who had saved him. Batu, in turn, welcomed the eagle's return each time with open arms, knowing that their relationship was a unique one, built not on domination or control, but on trust, love, and respect. As the years passed, Batu grew older, but his bond with Altan remained unbroken. The eagle, now a majestic and powerful creature, had become a symbol of the untamed beauty and strength of the mountains. For Batu, Altan was more than just a companion. He was a reminder of the delicate balance between man and nature, a bond that could only be forged through patience, understanding, and mutual respect. Their extraordinary friendship lasted for many years, a testament to the power of compassion and the deep, abiding connection that can exist between humans and animals. In the cold, rugged mountains of Mongolia, the hunter and the eagle proved that true bonds are not bound by the constraints of the world. They are forged in the heart, built on trust, and strengthened by time. And so, Batu and Altan continued to share their lives in the mountains, hunting together, soaring through the skies, and remaining inseparable until the end of their days.